Hello, this is Chris from Care with Intel. In this guide, we're going to share how to create that perfect prompt for AI-driven tools, specifically tailored for UK health and social care businesses. Whether you're looking at drafting new policies, training staff, or improving communication with clients, even things like looking at risk assessment, looking at things like incident risk, looking at trends, looking at things that have happened over time, looking at future analysis, business plans, anything you want to be doing with AI, we're going to be looking at creating the perfect prompt to get it completely right, clear and concise, and that's going to be the secret ingredient to getting the accurate, reliable results that you want. So as we get started, take on board some of the information I'm going to give you. Hopefully it will give you a better output from AI. So we're going to have a look at ChatGPT now. One of the things before we get started, though, is you've got to remember that ChatGPT and the nature of AI is that these large language models are probabilistic, meaning that they generate answers based on patterns and probabilities. It's not really by learning in the same way that humans do. By prompt engineering or crafting your perfect prompt and getting your input correct and just right is so important. So clarity. So first of all, I'm going to give you an example here. If I put in the window here in ChatGPT, hopefully you can see this. Please create me a consent policy. Let me just put that in. Very simple, not very specific in what I'm asking. It's going to have a bit of a think about it here for me. And it's going to draft me a sample consent policy. Now, it does know some of the stuff because it's done something from things I've done before. But as you can see here, we've got a policy to a degree. This will be very similar to a lot of the ones I think you might be seeing on Facebook that people are sharing in different groups. They're just in very basic prompts without much detail at all. You've got quite a bit of information, clients, and policy review, conclusion. Really give you much detail, does it, in relation to health and social care. Now, if I was to give this a little bit more detail in exactly what I want, so try again. Please create for me a consent policy for a care company in England, and I'm going to want it to reference CQC guidance. But let's see what difference we get now. So have a bit of a think about it, and we should see a slightly different policy gets created now. It's probably more than slightly different. There we go. It reflects on both the legal requirements. If you look at our other one here, it didn't do any of that, did it? It just went straight through policy details there. This is now giving us a bit more detail. So it's looking at the Care Quality Commission Fundamental Standards and Guidance, consent policy. Just put a few headers and things now. It looks a little bit better the way it's worked. Name of the company. And you've got still a very basic policy, but it's gone through the regulations here now, included those. You can see just a little bit of work will make a lot of difference to your prompt. But we're going to dig in a lot deeper to this and actually help you create much better prompts. First thing that's going to be really important is clarity. You've got to make your risk very specific and write specifically what you want. You need to be precise. So you can ask it for constraints. So write in professional language, or write as X, or write in reassuring language if it's a letter to somebody. And you can give it step-by-step approaches. So we're going to drill through all these, and as you build up some of these step-by-step approaches, you'll end up with a much better prompt. So as you can see, we have a much better result there, as I've just said. We're going to look at this now as a set of puzzle pieces. We're going to put together our puzzle piece, and as we use those puzzle pieces, we will create ourselves a much better prompt. So the first part of the puzzle is really going to be asking ChatGPT, or whichever large language model you're using. We're just demonstrating this with ChatGPT. This will work with others. This will work with Claude. It will work with anything else that you're using if you start to use it better. So the very first part of this is to ask the large language model to give an example of this. We'll open up another window here. So we're going to keep these. We're going to keep the original one we started with, the slightly developed policy, and then we're going to go with, as we go along, you will see all the steps being added together. So step one, act as. So we're going to tell the large language model, I've got a thing I've used here. We're telling it what you're going to be. You are a compliance expert in UK health and social care. Your task is to create a comprehensive health and social care policy for a UK company. We're going to change that. That's just the prompt I've used before. I'm going to use that for a English company, ensuring compliance with all current UK health and social care standards and legislation, Care Act 2018, CQC regulations. And I've added in here, we're kind of jumping ahead to a little bit later, but I'll leave this here, just really, really helpful. The policy must be in UK English and specific to the company and policy type provided. We're going to have a little bit more detail there because I said we need to be quite detailed. We're going to remove that bit there for now. We're going to leave it and saying in UK English. You'll notice a difference with this in a minute. We're going to say, please create a consent policy for a home care company. Let's run that through and see what responses we get now. Having a bit of a think about it again, which is great. We're using this version, ChatGPT 01, and it's crafting the policy. Thought about it for 10 seconds, a bit longer. So, home care policy, consent policy, in compliance with the Health and Social Care Act 2008. The Care Act is given a lot more citations there where it's taken this information from. Now it's looking at purpose and scope. The purpose is this. We looked at before. We just had a small amount of information here, didn't we? It didn't tell us really where it took all of the information from, so it's taking it from all there. Who it applies to, purpose of the consent policy, purpose and scope, which we didn't have before for the same detail. Policy statement, definitions that start to define the bits of the policy there, legislation and regulatory requirements, principles of valid consent, procedure for obtaining consent, so how you would actually put this into practice, consent in specific circumstances, record keeping, training responsibilities, monitoring review, references where it's taken that information from. You'll notice it's just giving you top line information of where it's taken its references from. In another video I'm going to show you how you can get your large language model to literally give you citations of exactly where it's taken that from. Page number, paragraph, everything else. That's going to be a bonus tip that's coming in a future video. So please subscribe to the channel. You will be finding out about other videos I'll be doing by doing that. Date of next review, policy approved by signature, signed by the staff that have read it. So if compared to the original one, well, actually the original one was like this, wasn't it? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 method of consent, storage, policy review there. The next version, we had the policy scope, legislation, framework, definitions, principles of consent, obtaining consent, assessing capability, best interest, recording consent, etc. And then as we've gone on, we've got a lot more detail as we've gone. That's the first piece of the puzzle solved there. So, shall we move on to the next piece? The next piece of the puzzle relates to style and tone. You're going to be asking the AI model, the large language model, to respond in a specific tone. That will help you keep your organization's tone consistent through everything you do. So you will tell it, for example, I would like this written in professional language. I would like this concise. I would like this written in a friendly manner. I'm going to give you an example. It's not going to relate to a policy. It's going to relate more to an email. And I'm going to give you a little bonus tip at the end of this puzzle piece as well. So we're going to write here a prompt. You are an expert in writing HR letters in a professional tone for an English home care company. Please transform the following email into a professional yet supporting style that addresses a member of the care team. And I've given an example of an email, an absolute rough draft, completely made up, but I've put, Dear John, I noticed that you were late again this morning for your care shift. This is unacceptable as it means that the clients were the clients were late having their calls. Please could you come into the office to discuss this with me tomorrow? So what we're asking it to do here, first part at the top there is we are saying you're an expert in writing HR letters. So it knows it's a HR professional. Writing in a professional tone for an English home care company. So it will be written in English as well, in British English. Okay, and we're going to put that in an English home care company. We'll put in England. Please transform the following email. So we're saying rewrite this email for us into a professional tone, yet a supportive style. So let's put that through. It's going to take a few seconds just to think about this as it does it for us. And then it will come back with a crafted message for us. So, subject. Give me the subject for the email as well. Meeting request regarding punctuality. Dear John, I hope you're well. I'd like to discuss your arrival time for your recent shift, as I noticed you were late again this morning. Punctuality is critical for ensuring our clients receive their scheduled care on time, so it's important for us to address this promptly. Could you please come into the office tomorrow so that we can talk about any challenges you may be facing and work together to find a solution? We value your contribution to the team and want to ensure that you have all the support you need. Thank you for your cooperation. I look forward to meeting with you. Kind regards. Can you see how that has literally crafted that basic email there into Can you see how that has crafted that basic email there into a much better copy for you? Now, I said I'd give you a bonus tip. We're not going to demonstrate this, but the bonus tip is this. What you could do at the end of this prompt is add in a very simple couple of paragraphs and say, here is an example of the way that I currently write. Provide 2 paragraphs of your current writing style, perhaps from other emails you've sent or other documents you've written. And then you would say at the end of that prompt, please write the email in my style so it sounds like me. That will give you an email that's written in the way that it sounds as if it's come from you, not from a large language model. Really, really important tip. You can use that in social media posts. I've noticed a lot of people posting social media posts in health and social care that have all the traits of a large language model, but they've used AI. Actually, 99% of the time, I think they're just chucking something into ChatGPT. However, if you tell it your style and the way that you write, your tone and voice for your business or for yourself, it will write in that way if you tell it to. That's our second puzzle piece. The next piece of the puzzle relates to creating a conversation with the AI just to get a little bit more information from you that it might need to give you a better result. So, for example, if you're asking for a policy, we're going to go back to that example. You're asking for a policy, you could ask it, please ask me for any other information about my company that might be relevant when creating this policy. For example, if you're looking at analysing your rotas and your logistics of your business, you could say to it, please have a conversation with me and ask any questions about rota issues, include step-by-step answers and best practice from my questions and my answers. So let's put that in as an example. We use the original second prompt that we did that was a little bit more detailed. So we're telling it again, you're an expert in health and social care. That bit we're going to use exactly the same. And then we're just going to add in it, asking any specific questions before continuing about the policy. For example, company details, type of company, etc. that might be useful in creating my policy. Please create a consent policy for my home care company. So we're going to put that in now. And it should now, before it continues, ask me some questions about my company that will make more sense when it's creating the policy for me. So it's laying the groundwork, it says, so it's getting ready to ask me some questions that are relevant. We'll just wait for it to do that. It's clarifying the company specific. It's going to gather some information for us. So before continuing, it would help us gather some more information. So company identity. So we're going to say ABC Care Company. And we're a standalone business. We provide, we say, personal care, medication, administration, and we support older people in the community. Now, there's quite a lot of questions, hasn't it, here? It's asked me for, I have 10 or fully trained in with mandatory training. And this is the first in my section of policies, is what we're going to say to the next. It's asked us any existing policies. Hopefully it's got enough information there. It has asked a lot more questions than that. You should really be answering the questions it's asking you, but hopefully from this, it will now create me a much better policy than the first examples we gave. Let's see what results we get from this now. Here we go. That tells you a little bit about the business, where it's got the information from, the purpose of the business, purpose of the policy, relating more to your company, scope, staff, who it oversees, staff and volunteers, etc. there. Definitions, so the definitions for the policy, legislative framework, all the details are there. Policy statement, roles and responsibilities for the policy, so who's responsible for what, the procedures there, exactly what it wants you to do. It's still writing at the minute. There's a lot of information here. It's a lot more detailed, isn't it, than our very first. We're going to go back to our first one here. Do you remember that? We're very, very basic policy. We've built it up a bit more here. And then as we've gone along, we've ended up with a much more detailed policy at the end here. So it's reporting and review, compliance, approval, etc., etc. So that gives you a bit of a framework, a number of puzzle pieces you can get and put together to create a much better prompt and a much better output from your large language model that you're using. So this is our examples using ChatGPT, as I've said already. We can look at other examples in other videos, but hopefully this will get you a bit of good grounding to create a much better prompt for your AI. I hope you can see with these tips I've given you, you will get a much better output from your AI that you're using, your AI of choice for your work environment. I'm not going to really give you many more tips in this video because I don't want to overwhelm you with information. I think I've given you enough to give you a much better understanding of how to really get your prompt, to engineer your prompt to give you a better response. I'm going to give you one more tip in this video, and then there's also going to be some subsequent videos coming which will give you lots more information of how you can implement AI into your care business. But before I give you the final tip of the day, I just want to quickly tell you, I set up Care with Intelligence as a company that would be able to help other care companies to get better at what they do by using AI. I don't think that AI will take over running care companies. It will not take over running home care. You are always going to need the people to do it. However, what it will take over is improving the way that you do things. For example, it can help you with your administration task. It can help you with your analysis of data. It can help you produce reports and other information that you might need. The Care with Intelligence was born to do that. So we can help you. We can guide you with a number of resources. We've got things that can help create risk assessments. We can help you create lessons learned using AI. We can create you simplified processes, look at your business and give you a much better way of running it using a bit of intelligence from AI. There's lots of things we can do to support you as a care company in the UK at the moment. So please do get in touch. I'm going to add some other information at the bottom of this video. There should be a link to a downloadable resource. There's also going to be a link to other bits and pieces that we've talked about in this lesson today. And also there's going to be a little bit more information about what Care with Intelligence can do to help your company. So are you ready for this final tip of today? Firstly, before I give it to you, one more thing. If you've liked this video, please can you just give us a like? That would be really helpful. And if you could subscribe to my channel, that would also really help me understand if you're enjoying the content, whether it's useful to your business, and also to give you lots of other free resources to help you. So on to our final tip. We've created our prompt. Our prompt gave us quite a good result, didn't it? This was the prompt that we used. However, we're not quite sure. We want a little bit more detail from this. So what I'm going to ask, another window in ChatGPT. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open another window of ChatGPT for you here. And I'm going to say to it, you are expert prompt engineer using AI for care companies in England. I'm going to say I am going to feed you a prompt I have written and then tell you everything I don't like about it, and what I feel needs improving for you. My spelling's horrific there, but never mind, for you to create a better prompt for. Just going to tell it that. I've got the prompt that we created earlier. We're going to just drop that in there ready. Once I think about it, it will come back and ask me to give it a copy of the prompt. So yeah, let's have a look to see what happens here. Absolutely, please share your original prompt. So this is the prompt I've done, and I'm going to say I don't like the fact that the prompt gives me insufficient detail for my policy to implement it. I need more detail in each section, at least a couple of paragraphs. I also need to find out how this relates to the CQC-I statement. Let's just send that off there now, and we'll see what response we get from it. It should now come back to me. It won't give me the answers. It will give me a better prompt that I can use. It's enhancing the quality of the prompt. Here we go. Here's a revised prompt. going to gather not only instructions, but a comprehensive policy. So you can see your compliance excellent UK, your task to create comprehensive consent policies for a home care company. Policy must ensure all of this. Use English, UK English throughout, provide at least 2 paragraphs in each of these sections. There you can see I've got a much, much better prompt now. If I was to throw this through AI now, it would give me a much better result than we've had previously. So that's the final tip of the day. Give it a go. Get your AI to have a look at the prompts you've written and get it to help you improve them. Once again, hope you've enjoyed this video. I've been Chris from Care with Intelligence, and please like and subscribe today. Thank you.